Hi, this is Katie Burns with Live Well, and today we are going to talk about planning. Now, if you watched season 1, you know that I like to start my goal setting in July. This is a bit different. Usually people make goals in January and I make goals in July. Well, I'm getting a jump start this year and I'm combining goals with my planning. Lindsey Lively is close. So today we're going to talk about how to combine your goals with your plans. And I want to introduce you to one of my new favorite products, which is the Emily Ley Simplified Planner. I must tell you that I am not by nature a planner. I am not organized. I am not type A. However, I truly respect those that are type A and that do plan. So this is my attempt in life to become more organized. Another thing that's funny about me trying to plan is that we live a farm lifestyle, and I also have a toddler. And so planning sometimes can seem completely futile just because things are always popping up and it's hard to really control things when you're dealing with farming and weather and animals and children. However, I do think it is important to be purposeful with your time and to make goals and to make an attempt to look at your time and where it's going and to make sure that your time matters. I don't want to spend a lot of time in a direction that doesn't mean anything, that doesn't have any value. So when I write things down and when I can go back and look, where's my time going, I have an opportunity to evaluate. So the first thing is you'll need a planner. You need a way that you like to plan. And when I ask people this question, they always say, Katie, I just use my phone. So I have this here with me today because I know it's a very popular planning product. They get on iCal. And the good part about that is your phone is typically with you wherever you go. So you can look at it, you can set reminders, you can have it yell at you when you're supposed to do this or that. My negative feedback on an iCal calendar is when I pull it up on my phone and I'm looking at a month view, everything is in dots and I can't see what's when. And sometimes it adds things for me. If you connect it to your social media and social media has events, it somehow goes on to my calendar and I didn't put it there. So sometimes my iCal is a bit more intelligent or likes to make plans for me, and I don't like that. So if you're out and about and you want to jot something down as a reminder, I can see that. Or some people like to marry the two and say, I'm going to use both. This could be for my friends that are also Outlook users for work, friends that maybe you share a calendar. I have attempted to share a calendar with my husband. I think that's a great idea in theory, except if the other person doesn't look at it, it really doesn't work out. So you can put things down here in your iCal and you can put them on a paper planner if you want to do both. For me, that's just double the work, and already I'm not a planner, so that hasn't happened for me. I can say that you'd be pretty safe if you had a calendar in both locations. And sometimes I am out and people say, let's schedule this appointment, or let's schedule your dentist appointment 6 months out. I'm like, hey, I don't have my planner, and frankly, I don't know where I'm going to be in life 6 months later, or what cow show there might be, or toddler crisis. So I won't set an appointment 6 months out unless I absolutely have to, because they're just so hard to get in that it's a must. But I try not to do that. I say, just send me a reminder, or I'll call or text you when I get home and get near my planner and can actually have a moment to think, what am I potentially going to be doing? And also, if you're working in different time zones, a lot of my friends commute and work in Eastern time zone, then setting appointments can get squirrely because your phone might be on Central or it might be on Eastern, and setting that can be a problem. If you're in a paper planner and you're doing that, always write a little E or a C next to the time. Did I set this appointment for Eastern or Central? That can save you a lot of headache. So the purpose in planning, again, be fruitful with your time. Make what you're doing matter, and it gives you an idea of kind of what's going on. If you see that there's an imbalance of here's the time slot that this is taking up in my life, and it's unequal to something that you feel is valuable, then you have the opportunity to adjust. This was my last year planner. So you can see it's pretty thick. This is the academic daily, so it goes from August to July. Emily Lay also has calendar planners. She'll start selling those in September if you're interested. For me, this was too heavy, so I changed to the weekly, and we'll get to that in a minute. But it does have your hours. So if you're a person that likes to just look at things one day at a time and flip the book over and do things by hour, then this book is going to be more likely for you, or a planner like that where you can look at what hour am I doing things. For me, what went wrong here, let's get into, this is what happened to me. Okay, so I like to see things in advance. And so I just started using the monthly view because I need to see, what all is happening in a week. And this just looks like a disaster to me. Every time I look at it, I feel slightly afraid. Now my mom, she likes to use those big desk calendars, but for sure you can't take those with you. And also you can end up with this kind of scratched situation, and that monthly view can just be overwhelming. And then that's just going to be mostly for appointments. Like I have a doctor appointment here, I have a vet appointment here, and you can oversee that. But I'm doing a little bit more than that. So I like to see a week at a time and like to have multiple things on that list. But let's move over to how that looks. Other things that I like, these little notepads. Handy to keep around. Sometimes if I'm meeting with a client and I need to take some notes separate from like a professional note, I can have this and can stick it in a pocket. I like any kind of planner that has pockets. As you'll see with this one, I've got checks to be deposited, I'd have receipts that I need to keep up with, and other things. I do not like to open up my planner and have things fly out of it. That is terribly annoying. So get you a little notebook. Paper clips, aren't these cute? They're little pineapples. I hope this inspires me to mark important pages. But again, I need inspiration for planning. Flag stickers. Now Emily Lay suggests that we use these for birth dates. I really need to get my iCal birth dates over to my paper planner because I can't tell you how many times the day of it pops up, oh, it's my father-in-law's birthday. Whoops, missed that, no card sent. So I'm hoping that the flags inspire that. And notepads. Always really helpful to make a grocery list or list that you want to leave for your spouse, for your babysitter, whatever that might be. By having a cute one, sometimes it inspires me to use it more, and sometimes I think I don't want to write on it because I might get it messy. That is not the way to think. Just get it down on paper so that it's not in your mind. We're carrying so many things in our head these days with the advancement of technology that it's hard to keep up, and it's hard to keep the little details in there. So any place that you have to get it out and reserve more brain space is a good idea. Now this causes me to think about my dear friend that is behind the camera, Ethan Lloyd. And for those of you that don't know, he loves sticky notes. Are there any other friends out there that are sticky note fans? I am not, because they come unstuck and then I can't find them. But if you're working at a desk, sometimes sticking them up around your computer can help, I don't know, keep your focus. You can also use them in your planner, stuck to something. This is another strategy if you're just one of those sticky note people that needs to stay in that. Okay, so here, look at this packaging, guys. They spent a lot on this packaging, I'm sure, and it is lovely. I guess what I like about this is I can stick a lot of stuff in this box when I'm done, and I do. I have before. This is my third planner from her, and you know, she's very good at brand image and marketing, and it's working on me. So here is my weekly planner. You can see much smaller. This makes me happy inside because this was getting heavy if I carried it in my big purse. And also it has a lay flat design. Stickers are fun. Any moms out there, I'm sure you have stickers galore to stick on things. I don't have that much time to make my planner an art project, but if it inspires you and that's the way that you work, then I suggest you go with it. This one has a lovely marker, just like a journal. Another kind of marker that I like is a little clip. It's magnetized, and I showed you those pineapples. That'll be good too. But the weekly view, like I was talking about, is right here. And I can see my entire week, and that's really how I function. And the other thing on here, which is the same as in this one, is it has a space for you to write down what's for dinner or your meals. How many of us come up on an evening and we're unplanned, we're unprepared? You know, even the best planning can mean, you know, your portions didn't last for the entire week. But an estimate or kind of a goal for that, it's nice to write it down. For my friends that are trying to be conscious about what they're eating, another great way so that you can say, this is what I'm planning to eat, this is how I'm planning to be healthy for this week, and it's all right here in your planner. And bonus, if you take, let's say you want to keep your grocery list in here, and then you just slip it in this pocket. And you have it to go. I can't wait to get into this thing, start putting down plans. Okay, so for those of you that are trying to plan school and life, you know, we need to address those situations, make sure that you're prepared to stay organized for the upcoming school semester. And I'm going to have a special guest, Lindsey Lively, join me to continue talking about planning and juggling work, school, and life. All right, I'm back with Lindsey Lively. She's joining me to talk about planning. Lindsey?
Yes.
Okay, are you a planner?
I try to be.
Right.
It doesn't come naturally. You have to work at it.
I know, I have to work at it too, which is how I started out this episode saying, I'm not a planner, but I really respect those who do plan, and I strive to be one. Mm-hmm. And so what helps me is to get a really cute planner. Look at this.
It's a very cute planner.
Okay, this is a weekly, and so I don't know if you're going to gravitate to this kind of style, but it has the whole week at once.
Lots of space too.
Lots of space, and then you've got your month view, which is nice, but I got in trouble with that on this one, where this is a daily planner. Mm-hmm. And feel that, it's just heavy. You're not going to carry that with your books.
You're not.
So this is what happened. Where is May? This is what happened in my May.
Oh, wow. That's overwhelming.
It's just ugly. It's just ugly. It's just too much. Scary, right? But the dailies, I wouldn't even flip to it. As you can see, well, that's past, you know, but I'm like, oh, here, I'm going to try and do some things. And the idea is that you have your day here and that you can flip it over. but then I couldn't remember what I was doing when. It kept flipping back to my calendar.
Right.
The reason I'm telling you all this and repeating myself for our fine viewers is you have to know what style you are. You have to know what style organizer you are, but if you're not naturally an organizer, I guess you can just develop how you want to be.
Whatever way you want to be.
Yeah. So what are some things that really get in your way of planning?
I don't know. I feel like, honestly, I try to take on too much at once sometimes. And then I'll say yes to things, and then there'll be just so much school stuff at once and then other things, and it's hard to juggle it sometimes. So
Right.
I try to, with my planner at school, I'll write down, when I get a school assignment, I'll write it down in my planner, but then write down the other things that I know I have to do, like if I have a club meeting that day or things like that, because you have to take into account not just like your work or your school life, but then other commitments that you'll have as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, you know, you have to start planning out when you're going to work on school assignments.
Right.
And do you have enough time to complete it with your extracurricular activities? Now, what kind of things do you have trouble saying no to?
I'm sorry?
What kind of things do you have trouble saying no to?
Oh, when people come and like, especially if people ask me to do things, like my friends will be like, can you hang out tonight? Well, of course I want to, but sometimes you have to say, no, I have an assignment due at school, and I can't do it that day. And that's disappointing sometimes to your friends, but you have to remember that you're at school to learn, so.
I have a hard time with that too, because, with having a toddler or, anything else that you want to do in life, you want to be able to say yes to fun things.
Right.
And sometimes they're really good things and really helpful things, but you have to say no.
Right.
And we're, trying to figure out where that line is where this comes in handy, is making your goals and your plans friends.
Right.
So like you said, where I'm at school to learn and to get an education. Okay, well, that's a definite goal.
Right.
And however, you're also there to make friends. Well, it could be possibly lifelong friends. Some may not be. That's always disappointing. If you spend a lot of time with someone in college and then, they're not friends. So that was a bust. You could have spent more time on algebra.
True.
Never, ever spend more time on algebra
No.
in comparison to friends. But that's because I'm not a math person. But anyway, okay, getting back to your goals. So you do want to have a balance, but you also sometimes, when I was counseling people on ranking their priorities, do you do that?
I feel like mentally, but I haven't made a list.
It's important to put it on some paper, and any kind of notepad will do, where you write down, okay, what are my top? Obviously, school, education, family, God, and then you number them. And if those items are 10s, like top priorities, then you're going to say, okay, planner, did you make the list?
Right.
Is it in my schedule? Is it in my time? So that's one way to help to marry the goals and the plans.
I think that's true. One interesting thing that we did at my school to develop time management, we keep a log of just everything you do every day, whatever activities you do, and that really shows you like where you spend your time each day, and you think, well, I spent 20 minutes watching Netflix, did I really need to do that, or could I be working on something else at that time?
Fuller House is going to have season 3.
I mean, yes.
Netflix can happen to anybody, or I might turn it on while I'm having lunch. It's kind of my downtime, but say maybe I finished lunch in 15 minutes and still sitting there watching my Netflix.
Turn on Fuller House.
I know, and I'd be like, but there's that next episode that's so good too, and then all of a sudden you've lost time.
And then you're 3 seasons in.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. You just don't know what happened, or gosh, the deadly social media.
Oh yes.
Which
takes way too much of my time.
It's odd for me to say this because I do social media professionally.
Right.
I get paid to do social media. So see, there's an added justification for why I need to check social media, is because it's my profession. One of my professions.
You have to stay on top of it.
I have to stay on top of it, and if I'm not on top of it, then I'm behind. But what will happen is, say I know I'm going to get a block of free time, and I think in my head, I'm going to do my social media. You know, I'm going to update our website. You know, maybe I'm going to call a friend. By the time I get to that block of free time, I have forgotten what I was going to do.
Exactly.
And I get into what's in front of my face. Oh, look, I need to do some laundry. Or, oh, you know, I didn't check on that clothing item that I wanted on online shopping. You know, I might should just check on that to see if it's on sale yet. And all of a sudden you're down the rabbit hole. And I know these things because I'm not an organized person. And so I was saying, okay, no, I'm going to plan out my list for my nap time. Or that's really kind of when I get a break. Not my nap time, my child's nap time. I don't get to nap. But a college student could.
I will be honest, I have a scheduled in nap time every day because I find it, and I write that in my planner. So
yeah.
I find that very important for my mental health.
Nap.
If I don't get it, I'm cranky.
I love that.
Yeah, you have to, naps are important.
Way to embrace that.
Yeah.
Well, you know, new moms, we tell that, you know, sleep when the baby sleeps, or, you know, make sure to take your nap time, or people that are retired.
Yeah.
Have a nap time.
Or people in college, just take your nap.
Take your nap. Because you were out late with friends.
Exactly.
No, you were up late studying.
Studying, yes.
Studying.
Very hard for that test.
For that, yeah, and writing that paper. And so you make it to class. Never schedule an 8 a.m. class, by the way. You didn't do that, did you?
I've done it. I got through a semester. Didn't miss a class. Went to every 8 a.m. session.
I did that my freshman year. I scheduled an 8 a.m. class. I never did that again. I wouldn't take a class if it was at 8. I'd just wait till next semester till it was offered at a different time. And I'm a morning person. But what would happen is that I would get up to do my work the morning of.
Oh, you're one of those people.
I needed that. No, see, I have real issues. I needed that morning block to complete the task.
I got you. Now, if it's a sign I'm getting it done that night, I will stay up and late until it's done.
But see, I couldn't do that. I just crashed out at 8 because I didn't take a nap, and I just was in bed by 8.
Problem,
In bed by 8, and it was over. So, you know, no matter, you know, what season that you're in, if you are, you know, a student and young professional, or you're, you know, about to get married.
Yeah.
And all those plans. That's a lot of planning.
I'm sure.
Or you're just married and you've got to juggle your new lifestyle and work. That's usually what people are doing then. And then new parents, or getting into the groove of life, and then retired. A lot of my clients that have retired stop making plans. Isn't that sad?
It's unfortunate.
They'll do a bucket list type thing, like, oh, we've always wanted to travel to Italy. Wonderful. That's a plan, but you need to have some weekly goals in there of things that you want to do to keep making a difference, and hopefully in our own community.
Yeah, like take for instance, my dad retired.
Yeah.
He was the warden at Taft for years, and then he decided that he really wanted to substitute teach. He always wanted to teach, and now he does that.
Yeah.
And he loves it.
Yeah.
It gives him something to do every week.
Be purposeful with your time. Otherwise, where is it going?
Exactly.
A quote from, you guys have heard me talk about Laura Casey a lot. She says, how you spend your time is how you spend your life.
That's interesting.
Isn't that interesting? So, you know, but if you're just living and just trying to make it through day to day and not being focused on where your time is going, it's just going to, I think it's just going to go right out from under you.
Right.
And you won't know what happened that day. But at least if I don't know what happened, I can look back and say, oh yeah, I attempted these things. I don't know if it worked out or not. But try not to let life just run you by. Try and be purposeful with your time. And you can't control everything. You know, God laughs when you make plans. I completely believe that. Being in the farming industry and having a small child, sometimes it is laughable.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's just my attempt to make something happen. So I hope that you guys at home will feel inspired. You know, Emily Lay has a great product, Simplified Planner, but all planners are great. Just the idea that you're trying to make it happen. So thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you.
And we will see you next time. I hope you'll take time to live well.